Welcome to Studying with KJ. Today, we'll be going over the introduction to evaluating cube roots. Now, before we get into solving some example problems, we must first understand the definition of a cube root, and I have that definition written below. So, the cube root of a number is obtained by finding a number that when cubed, that's important, gives the original number. So let's read that again. The cube root of a number is obtained by finding a number that when cubed gives the original number. We're going to see why that part is so important when trying to find or understand how to cube root a number. So below our definition, I have an example written. And this example gives a visual of our definition. So as you can see, we have a 2 and an 8. Now, in order to truly understand how to cube root a number, you must first understand how to cube a number. That's why this part of the definition is so important. So when you cube a number or raise a number to the power of 3, both mean the same thing, you're multiplying that number by itself 3 times. So one way to get from 2 to 8 is by cubing 2, which I have right here. And when we cube 2, we're multiplying 2 by itself 3 times. So when you multiply 2 by itself 3 times, it gives you 8. Now, how will we get back or get from 8 back to 2? We will get from 8 back to 2 by cube rooting 8. So when you cube root 8, you have the radical sign or the root sign, and on the outside we have a 3 written. So when you cube root 8, it gives us 2. And the reason why that is because let's look back at our definition. The cube root of a number is obtained by finding a number that when cubed gives the original number. So in the beginning, we cubed 2, which means you multiply 2 by itself 3 times, which gives us 8. So when you cube root 8, that means it's 2, because 2 can be multiplied by itself 3 times to give us our original number, which is 8 in this case. So it's also important to understand that or know that when you cube root a number, that's the opposite of cubing a number. So the cube root of a number is the opposite or inverse of cubing a number. So now that we got that out the way, we can get into our example problems. So our first example problem is to find the cube root of 27. Now, in order to find this answer, we have to think of a number that can be multiplied by itself 3 times to give us 27, and that number will be 3. So 3 cubed is equal to 3 times 3 times 3, which gives us 27, because 3 times 3 is 9, and then 9 times 3 is 27, which means that our answer, the cube root of 3, is 3. Let's write that a little more clear. So that's the answer for number 1, or example problem 1. Now let's go on to our example problem 2. Our example problem 2 is asking us to find the cube root of 125. So we have to think of a number that can be multiplied by itself 3 times to give us 125. And that number would be 5. 5 cubed, which is also equal to 5 times 5 times 5 is equal to 125. Because 5 times 5 is 25, and then 25 times 5 is 125. So that means that the square root, or the cube root, of 125 is 5. And that concludes today's lesson. Remember, the more you go over these type of problems, the better you get. Thanks for studying with KJ.